Yo soy Ana de Azcárate, soy la directora editorial de Diente de León. Diente de León es una editorial donde publicamos libros de ecología y salud. También organizamos eventos con nuestros autores. Hemos organizado varios encuentros con la doctora Natasha Campbell-McBride, tanto aquí en España como en México y en Colombia. Y ojalá el año que viene podamos organizar algo también bastante grande porque ya este sería nuestro cuarto libro. Con esto están los cuatro libros que ha escrito. Ahora está escribiendo un quinto, así que estoy esperándolo y ya tiene que ver más con el campo, con Natasha es granjera y tiene una finca espectacular en Inglaterra. Y su quinto libro lo quiere dedicar a lo que es la tierra, ¿no? La importancia del suelo, la vida en el suelo, lo de cultivar, tener tu propio huerto y cuidar tus propios animales, ¿no? O sea, el ser autosuficiente. Natasha es casi autosuficiente con su finca, hay ciertas cosas que no puede, pero aparte, toda su comida la produce ella. Estoy muy feliz, estamos todos, Andrea, yo, todos los que trabajamos en Diente de León, porque este libro ha tenido una excelente acogida, como también lo tuvo el libro amarillo. Hoy se han inscrito muchísimas personas de todas partes del mundo. Hay gente, bueno, de El Salvador, de Venezuela, de España, de Chile, Colombia, Cisjordania, Paraguay, Estados Unidos, bueno, Panamá, Colombia, todos lados. Es impresionante. Alemania, bueno, me encanta porque es impresionante que esta herramienta nos pueda unir a todos y conectarnos. Me imagino que todos conocéis a la doctora Natasha Campbell-McBride por su primer libro, que es el libro del síndrome psicointestinal. El primer libro se enfocaba más en eso que llamamos el eje intestino-cerebro. Por supuesto, toda la parte también de la flora intestinal, de la microbiota, ¿no? Y de cómo la salud intestinal nos afecta tanto. En este libro ella lo que ha hecho es como es el compendio, porque así como el primer libro se enfocaba más en nuestra salud cerebral, esta se refiere más a nuestro cuerpo, ¿no? A la parte fisiológica, ¿no? Y de ahí el tema de las enfermedades autoinmunes, del tema de, de la piel y, bueno, y otros ámbitos que me imagino que ya todos conocen. A mí me parece, en este caso, este libro me ha gustado muchísimo, es muy práctico, como va, mm, profundiza, amplía y luego al final hizo como una serie de preguntas y respuestas que a mí me parece que siempre nos dan como una ayuda de cómo enfocar aquellas cosas que no, bueno, que padecemos o que queremos como indagar más. Aquellos que ya estamos metidos en el mundo GAPS, es como esto nos amplía nuestros conocimientos, nos ayuda a trabajarnos a nosotros mismos y también si somos terapeutas, pues a nuestros pacientes. Bueno, espero que esta presentación sea inspiradora para todos, muy motivadora, que compréis el libro, por favor, que vale mucho la pena, que nos sigáis en Instagram. Y bueno, quiero darle las gracias a Natasha por estar aquí hoy con nosotros y le dejo a ella para que ya se lo presente. Natasha, so thank you so much for being here. I just introduced you on the book, and now everyone wants to.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'm delighted to be here. I'm delighted to meet you all, and thank you for coming to this launch of my book, Gut and Physiology Syndrome. This is the last book that Anna has translated into Spanish, and I'm very grateful to Anna for doing this work and for bringing this information to Spain, to Spanish-speaking people. It's a very important book because, as you probably know, I started more than 30 years ago working with autistic children. Initially, I worked with autism, and then I've discovered that the parents of these children are not well. They have digestive problems, they have chronic fatigue, They have migraines, they have arthritis, they have all kinds of other illnesses. And then I've discovered that brothers and sisters of these autistic children are not well either. They suffer from hyperactivity, allergies, eczema, asthma, diabetes type 1, digestive problems, and all kinds of psychological problems. And that's how the whole thing unraveled and expanded. And GAPS now has been around for more than 20 years. It is a nutritional protocol that is well established. My first book has been translated into best part of 30 languages. The blue book has been translated into many languages too. I need to count how many now. All my books have been translated, which means people all over the world are using this knowledge for healing themselves and their loved ones. And the more I've been working with the GAPS protocol, GAPS nutritional protocol, the longer was becoming the list of diseases that this protocol helps with. And people will ask me questions, well, does it help with rheumatoid arthritis? Or does it help with multiple sclerosis? Or does it help with fibromyalgia? Or does it help with Guillain-Barré neuropathy? Or Parkinson's disease? Or Alzheimer's disease? Or heart disease? Or cancer? And today I can tell you with complete confidence that this protocol helps with every chronic disease without exception. There is no disease that this protocol will not help, including genetic conditions, including cancer. Because genetic conditions are caused by epigenetics. We have new science of epigenetics, which tell us that our genetics, our genome, is not our destiny. It's the environment that we create inside our bodies and and outside that chooses which genes are going to be active and which genes are going to sleep forever. So GAPS nutritional protocol chooses your genetics. It puts genes which cause the disease to sleep. It makes them sleepy, it makes them inactive. While the genetics for good health become active. I have many children and many adults in my clinic who have been given genetic diagnosis. And of course, the doctors tell them this is genetic. There is nothing we can do. And we put them on the GAPS nutritional protocol, these people, and their symptoms disappear. And as long as they stay on the GAPS diet and GAPS protocol for most of their life, those genes go to sleep and they stay sleeping. And they function and their symptoms disappear. Epileptic seizures disappear. Psychosis disappears. Skin problems disappear. Muscle problems disappear. Digestive problems disappear. So let me explain to you why I make this big claim that GAPS nutritional protocol will help with every chronic disease without exception. Human body is a microbial community. There are more microbes in you than there are human cells. In fact, latest research tells us that 90% of all cells in the human body are microbes. Only 10% of you are actually human. And even those human cells, many of them descended from microbes. They look like microbes and they behave like microbes. Every microbial community in nature functions on balance, on harmony. Every microbe needs to be present in there. There should be fungi, there should be viruses, there should be bacteria, there should be protozoa, there should be archaea. All of them should be there. But in a balanced microbial community, they all play their little roles, and they play like a well-organized orchestra. They play a beautiful symphony, beautiful music, because every microbe does the right thing at the right moment and it behaves itself. Because they all control each other. They don't allow any one member of this microbial community to get out of control and start causing trouble. But the problem is that in our modern world, humanity is very good at creating imbalances in nature. Every time you take an antibiotic, you kill part of that microbial community. And the problem is today, human beings eat antibiotics for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because majority of agricultural chemicals that our food is grown with are antibiotics in their nature. The most common one is glyphosate, which has been introduced in the 90s. And it is the most used agricultural chemical in the world. And many crops are sprayed just before harvest with this chemical, literally soaked in this chemical, because they desiccate the crop and make it easy to harvest for the farmers. Glyphosate is a broad-spectrum antibiotic, a very powerful antibiotic. So every piece of bread you eat, anything made out of flour, pasta, sugar, most vegetables and fruit, vegetable oils, they're all full of this antibiotic. And this is only one antibiotic. There are many other. So human beings, by simply eating food that has been produced by industrial agriculture, are damaging the microbial community in their bodies. They're doing it all the time, every day, with every meal. And when you killed off part of that microbial community, all the other members of that orchestra get out of control. They start proliferating, growing into large colonies. And from being benevolent members of a good, healthy community, they start causing trouble. They start causing disease. Because your body is a microbial community, every chronic disease is caused by that microbial community. What is disease? It is disharmony. It is absence of balance, absence of harmony. So you have, so that orchestra, microbial orchestra, is not playing beautiful music anymore. It's a cacophony. Because part of the orchestra is ill, another part has been killed, and what's left, are the instruments which are not playing together very well. And that is what disease is. What does the GAPS nutritional protocol do? It brings that balance and that harmony back into that microbial community. It restores all the microbes that were sick. It introduces the microbes that were killed. And it creates a balanced, harmonious community so that orchestra starts playing beautiful symphony again for you, a symphony of health. That is why the GAPS nutritional protocol is the baseline treatment for every chronic disease, without exception, including cancer, including neurological illnesses, psychiatric illnesses, autoimmune illnesses, all kinds of allergies, all kinds of illnesses. There is nothing in the body that is not under control of that microbial community. And once you make that community happy and healthy and harmonious, it will put everything straight. The headquarters of this microbial community is in the digestive system, because that's where we put our food. If you ask any microbiologist, what is the most powerful influence on a microbial community? The answer will be food. You change food supply to any microbial community, everything will change very quickly. The center of the GAPS nutritional protocol is the GAPS diet. It's food. So once we change the food that we give this microbial community, everything starts changing in the body. And this microbial community, the headquarters of it in the digestive system, is connected with every microbe everywhere else in your body, in your brain, in your blood, in your muscles, because there is nothing microbe-free in your body. You have microbes in your blood, in your brain, in your joints, in your muscles, in your skin, in every organ, everywhere there are microbes. And they talk to each other. Now we have some research showing that the communication between happens on a quantum level. It is a quantum communication, which means it is instant. It doesn't take any time. As soon as the microbes in your digestive system receive information from food that you've just eaten, that information is translated everywhere instantly. You know, Chinese already have quantum computers and quantum mobile phones, which we don't have in the West yet. So quantum technologies are coming in, and we know quite a bit about them. And that is how the communication between cells happens in the human body, on a quantum level. So that is what GAPS nutritional protocol is. It is the basis of healing from every chronic disease. And from my clinical point of view, and it's not just mine, I've trained thousands of GAPS practitioners and GAPS coaches. They are working all over the world, helping people to recover from all kinds of illnesses. We communicate with each other, we share information, we share knowledge. So the amount of knowledge that we accumulated in these last 20 years show us that there isn't a disease that GAPS nutritional protocol will not help with. Because human body is a microbial community, and we're fixing that microbial community. So this book, this blue book that Anna has translated now into Spanish, it covers all the major groups of illnesses that people suffer from in our modern world. It explains where allergies come from, why people get allergies, and how to get rid of them. It explains what really causes autoimmune disease. Because as you probably know, Western medicine, our mainstream medicine, is ruled by pharmaceutical industry. It is a Rockefeller medicine. Has been set up at the beginning of the 20th century by Rockefeller Foundation. And pharmaceutical industry dictates the curriculums in the medical schools and dictates the ideas where diseases come from. So the idea that mainstream doctors are taught where autoimmune disease comes from is a fairy tale which leads to sales of drugs, pharmaceutical drugs. They're basically told that the immune system of the person, for some reason, goes crazy and starts attacking its own body without any good reason. So we need to take drugs which suppress immune system, which kill immune system. And of course, this doesn't work. That is why the mainstream doctors will tell people with autoimmune diseases that they're incurable, that all they can do is just control symptoms. The reality is very different. Autoimmune disease is not caused by immune system which has gone crazy. Autoimmune disease is a contamination disease. Toxins produced in the digestive system of a person with GAPS absorb, attach themselves to proteins in the body, various structures in the body, and contaminate them, make them dirty. So the immune system tries to clean those tissues. And it's the immune system which uses inflammation, uses complement cascade, and other tools. The immune system has many tools in its box. And it's the immune system using all these tools that causes the pain, the swelling, the function limitation, and other problems, other symptoms. The symptoms are only a sign that something's wrong and that the immune system is working on it. Suppressing the immune system leaves the disease free to continue progressing with nobody opposing it and nobody dealing with the situation. With the GAPS nutritional protocol, we address the root cause of the problem. So the immune system does the job correctly, and as a result, the person recovers. So we will never tell a person that your disease is incurable. So that's autoimmunity, and there are many, many other illnesses. My first GAPS book, the yellow book, Gut and Psychology Syndrome, focused on the brain. Because at the time when I wrote it, I was working with mentally ill patients, with autistic children, hyperactive children, children with other learning disabilities, and people with psychiatric conditions. This blue book focuses on the rest of the body. It doesn't replace the first book. They go together. One's focusing on the brain, the other one's focusing on the physical body of the person. Please read this book. Read it many times, not just once, and then read bits that are particularly relevant to your situation or the situation of your loved ones if you're trying to help members of your family or friends. And keep reading, because every time you read it, again, you will discover new information. You will discover another layer of information. GAPS works. I'm not saying this because I've written these books, but I'm saying this because this is the experience, the clinical experience of my own and of thousands of other practitioners who work with people with the most difficult chronic illnesses, most difficult to help, and people recover. Okay, so that's what I have to say, and I think we can start with questions. You can see the question there, what would you do in case of a mercury amalgam? Very good question. Thank you for asking it. Our dentists have been putting amalgams into people's teeth, including children, for decades, for a very long time. And of course, they contain mercury. It is such a poisonous heavy metal that there is no allowed limit of it for humanity. And it never stops leaching. If you have an amalgam filling in your tooth, you keep swallowing mercury, as long as that amalgam is there. And what happens to people? Several things happen. If the microbial community in the digestive system is strong enough, and if the body is strong enough to deal with it, then it will grow a population of fungi in the upper digestive system of the person. Fungi will grow in the stomach, and fungi will grow in the duodenum. It's the bendy sort of piece of intestine that follows the stomach, duodenum. Why? Because fungi absorb mercury, hold it inside their own body, protecting you. So you will have a fungal overgrowth there. They will be protecting you from this mercury. And as long as this amalgam is sitting there, you'll continue swallowing and swallowing this mercury, so that fungus can never go. It'll become bigger and it will just sit there. And of course, in that fungus, that fungal mass with mercury, there will be bacteria living there, and there will be viruses living there, and maybe a few worms will join in, flukes, and other parasites join in. So this whole microbial community grows in your upper digestive system as a result. And of course, they protect you from mercury, but at the same time, they have a life of their own. They love eating carbohydrates. They love eating bread, sugar, anything made out of potatoes, flour, and they convert them into gas. So you will be belching, you will be burping, you will have indigestion. Apart from gas, they produce alcohol, which absorbs and can give you headaches and can give you poor focus, give you foggy brain. Children usually either hyperactive or can't focus in that situation. They're just drunk, basically. And when this alcohol comes into the liver converts it into acetaldehyde, a very toxic chemical, which can give you a headache, muscle ache, nausea, and just bad mood, depression, and just not feeling well, not feeling good. And all of this continues constantly, so it will affect everything in the body. There will be a knock-on effect on everything in the body. So this fungal population with other microbes that grow in there can make you quite unwell and can cause a lot of trouble for you. In order to remove it, we have to remove amalgams. We have to get rid of amalgams. But it's not so easily done because a vast majority of dentists are conventional dentists in the world. They don't know how to remove amalgams safely. When they remove amalgam, when they drill it out, they release such a huge amount of mercury into your system, into your saliva, into your mouth. Quite often, lumps of amalgam drilled out and the person swallows them into the digestive system. I've had patients who developed psychosis after removing an amalgam filling because amalgam, mercury in the amalgam, is fat soluble. When it gets into your blood, the blood will take it to high fat tissues in the body where they can settle, where they can absorb. Your brain is a high fat tissue. The rest of your nervous system is a high fat tissue. Bone marrow is a high fat tissue. Endocrine glands are high fat tissues. So mercury will target all of these organs. And if suddenly a dentist drilled out 1 or 2 or 3 amalgams at the same time, and a huge dose of mercury came into the body, it can get into your brain and it can cause a psychosis, hallucinations, depression, bipolar disorder, or anything else. It causes leukemia in children. We're not talking about amalgam. Children usually inherit that mercury from the mother during pregnancy because the mother unloads her toxins into the baby during pregnancy. So if the mother has amalgam fillings, then they will be accumulating in the baby, in high fat tissues of the baby. That's why we have an epidemic of leukemia amongst small children in the Western world. It is the #1 cancer amongst children because they are born with a huge load of mercury from these mothers and fathers too, from these parents. So mercury amalgams need to be removed by a dentist who is qualified and knows how to remove them safely. And these are called holistic dentists. It's a rare breed. They're difficult to find. There aren't many of them, and they're twice more expensive. What they're saying now, these holistic dentists, that it is impossible to just drill the amalgam filling and leave the tooth in the mouth, because every tooth has millions of microscopic canals in the dentin of the tooth. And if there was an amalgam filling there, mercury is in all of those canals. The whole tooth is contaminated. So you can't just drill the amalgam out. You have to remove the whole tooth. And then these dentists find that even the bones around that tooth are contaminated. The whole jaw is contaminated. So amalgam fillings need to be removed by a professional who knows what they're doing and who knows what to measure and when to remove it and how to remove it. A holistic dentist would measure the electric currents in the mouth of a person, because a person with amalgams will have electric currents because it's a metal. You have metals in your mouth, and between them electric currents develop. So he will have to remove a tooth which has the largest negative charge first. That's the first amalgam that has to go. After that one's removed, the person's body needs to recover for 2 months or so. And after that, the dentist will need to measure again because the electric currents in the mouth will change. Another tooth will become the largest negative charge, and that tooth will need to be removed next. The whole procedure will need to be done under the cover of a chelating agent, a medication that can grab hold of all the mercury that's released into your blood and remove it out of your body, not allow it to accumulate in your brain or somewhere else in other tissues. The most effective chelating agent at the moment is imiramide. It's difficult to find. It's not sold. It's been developed by a pharmaceutical company, but it hasn't been approved. So there is sort of an unofficial market for it, and people are using it all over the world. But it is one of the most effective substances. We have several chelating agents which are effective and safe on the market. We have NDF, we have imiramide, we have some other metal chelators. So it's important to take these sort of things while you are removing amalgam fillings, not to tip your body into something serious, like a mental illness or a thyroid collapse or something else, because these things happen if amalgams are removed without proper preparation and by a professional who doesn't know what he's doing. It's very important. I hope that one day amalgams will be banned altogether. At least in most European countries, they don't use them for children anymore and for pregnant women, because they used to put them into the teeth of pregnant women and children in the Western world. But they're still putting them into the teeth of adults who would agree to it. It is a convenient material for the dentist to work with because it's easy to work with. It's a metal, it just molds into the cavity of the tooth. But it is so toxic, it literally needs to be banned. As we're talking about teeth, I'd like to mention something that's very important, I think, for all parents to know and for all people to know. If there is a little hole in the tooth, particularly in the child, the first time, a little hole is developing in the tooth, don't rush to the dentist. If the tooth is not hurting, if it's not painful, don't rush to the dentist, because the dentist will drill a large hole in the tooth and fill it up. And that will not allow the tooth to heal itself. Human teeth, if a tooth is alive, it's a living body. It rebuilds itself all the time. It renews itself all the time. Just like everywhere else in the human body, our cells have a short life. They work hard, they get old, they die, and they get removed. And in their place, new baby cells are born to replace those old cells. Your teeth are no exception. They rebuild themselves all the time. They create new cells and they rebuild themselves, they heal themselves. Particularly in a child, if there are holes in the teeth, don't rush to the dentist. Change the child's diet and the tooth will heal itself. Small cavities, small holes in the teeth can fill up and heal themselves. The teeth can do that. We just have to have plenty of vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K2, and plenty of protein and plenty of animal fats. So if we go on the GAPS diet, remove all grains, potatoes, starch, flour, grains altogether, and replace them with animal fat, meat, fish, eggs, and high-fat dairy, sour cream on a daily basis, butter, the tooth will heal itself if it's alive. Of course, if a tooth is dead already, if it's been turned into a root canal by the dentist, then of course it will not heal itself.
So, Natasha, what I did was I opened a chat with you, so I translate all the questions there. So you're gonna have them all there in English. I think we have 11 questions. I don't know if we have time to answer all of them, but maybe you can see in that chat which one maybe it's better for you to answer, or I don't know. So
Okay.
did you find it?
No?
Okay, in the chat,
Yeah,
go
we
to
have
the
it
chat,
on
and
this one.
I put them all there in English, so it was easier.
Well, I see only the ones.
So you see, it should be a chat only with me. You see it?
Oh, there we go.
With
Yes, yes.
Anna's Karate, yes. So there you have 11 questions that, well, we can maybe answer half of them, or I don't know how much time we have.
So does ADHD improve or disappear with the GAPS diet? Yes. Anna, am I speaking slowly enough for you? Yes, absolutely. Children who go on the GAPS diet with ADHD, they calm down very quickly. Literally within days, they start calming down. Within a couple of weeks, they start functioning. Just keep them on the diet. These children usually have unstable blood sugar level. When they eat breakfast cereal for breakfast, which is basically wheat and sugar and other grains and sugar, their blood sugar goes too high, and that makes them hyperactive. And they can't focus. But then within half an hour, it drops below the normal level, and they become unwell. Again, they can't focus, and they become moody, aggressive, unhappy, unwell. So what do they do to fix the situation? They eat a chocolate bar. They eat sweets. They eat bread. And the blood sugar goes up again above the normal level. Because the mechanisms of blood sugar control in these children is broken, the GAPS diet will fix it. It will normalize the blood sugar level, and the behavior of the child will normalize, and the brain will start functioning well. This sort of blood sugar swing causes the bipolar disorder in adults and children. And psychiatrists now diagnose 2-year-olds with bipolar disorder and putting them on medication. All these children need is a diet. All they need is just normalize, is to bring good foods in and remove all the harmful foods. Okay. We have a look. So my autistic child son began having febrile seizures at the age of 2 and was later diagnosed with drug-resistant epilepsy. At age 7, we started the GAPS protocol, and he stopped having tonic-clonic seizures. However, when he goes off the nutritional protocol, even with minimal exposure to sugar, focal episodes appear. This also happens when my son is in the incubation period of a viral or bacterial illness. Yes, I have a lot of people. There are thousands and thousands of people who recovered from epilepsy on the GAPS nutritional protocol. both children and adults, including Dravet syndrome and other so-called genetic forms of epilepsy. But they have to stay strictly on the GAPS diet all of their life. Because every time they have sugar, every time they have bread or anything like that, they wake up those genes that we put to sleep. And they have a seizure. And it's not only happening with children, it happens with many adults. So in order to control, to live basically without epilepsy, to be epilepsy-free, the person needs to stay strictly on the GAPS nutritional protocol. It is a very healthy diet. It will prevent every disease, including diseases of age, diseases that older people usually suffer from. So you'll be healthy and well for the rest of your life. All it takes is discipline. Okay? That's a very long one. The use of immunoglobulin therapy in autistic children with immune deficiencies and whether it would be compatible with the GAPS protocol. We have many children who have recovered from immune deficiency. Because the GAPS diet is the best immunoglobulin therapy. We're eating natural foods which will naturally rebalance the immune system and nourish it. Children and adults with immune deficiency have malnourished immune system. On top of that, it's intoxicated and it is out of balance. Food and that microbial community that is in your body will do all the jobs because microbial community is involved with the work of the immune system all the time. So by feeding your immune system properly, by taking fermented foods and probiotics, you will rebalance your immune system, you will nourish it, and you will detoxify it. And it will recover quickly and permanently. And there is no need for expensive therapies or expensive drugs. Okay. How do you deal with the family or friends? Yes, family and friends. Quite often family and friends don't understand us, don't understand what we're doing and why we're doing it, particularly grandmothers who want to indulge their grandchildren, giving them sweets, giving them cakes, and other sort of things. You just have to explain. Give them my books to read. Keep explaining why you're doing what you're doing, and discipline them. Discipline them, because this is your child's health and your child's life that is at risk. And if there is a grandmother who wants to indulge herself and buy attention from her grandchildren by giving them chocolates and giving them other things, it is her problem. She has no right to do that to the child. You just have to be firm as parents. And for that, it is very important for the parents to be united. For the mother and the father, both understand why they're doing this and what they're doing. And observe what effect it has on the child. And once the mother and the father are united, then you can keep the rest of the family at bay. Problems arise when there is no unity in the family, when the mother and the father disagree with each other. That's when it's very difficult to protect the child. But even in those situations, it can be done. You just have to be firm, and the child needs to be the focus of attention for everybody. Because every person in the family who's trying to indulge the child is indulging themselves. They're not thinking about the child. They've got their own interests that they're serving. My mother was diagnosed with progressive supranuclear palsy. Is there a cure or any improvement with the GAPS protocol? Absolutely. Absolutely. With every neurological disease, including Parkinson's, any kind of neuropathy, multiple sclerosis, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, Alzheimer's disease, any other kind of dementia, introducing the GAPS nutritional protocol for life, for the rest of the person's life. These people can never come off it, because this is a serious situation, will arrest the progress of the disease. If the disease is new, if the person wasn't ill for 10 years with this disease, then we will reverse it. We can reverse it completely. But if the person was ill for a long, long, long time and lots of medications were taken with this illness, we will definitely stop the process and we will reverse it to a degree. It may not completely clear, but in many people it does. It does clear, even in long-term illness. In fact, I don't know of any other. I'm a neurologist by training. I worked as a neurologist in the mainstream medicine before I started my family. And it is one of the most frustrating professions in medicine. Because we can, with our diagnostic tools, we can precisely pinpoint where in the nervous system the damage is. But when it comes to helping the person to recover from this damage, there is nothing we can do. All we can do is suppress the immune system with immune suppressing drugs to remove the autoimmune component, or give them some vitamins, deal with this symptom a little bit with that, just make them a little bit more comfortable. That's all we can do. But we cannot stop the process and we cannot heal the person. Neurologists are simply cannot do it. Where once I started working with the GAPS nutritional protocol, people are recovering fully. They're saying goodbye to multiple sclerosis, goodbye to Duchenne-Barré, to other neuropathies, to Parkinson's disease. They forget about them. They recover fully. Because human body is a microbial community. And GAPS nutritional protocol fixes that microbial community. It makes it harmonious and healthy. And as a result, these microbes just fix everything in the body. I don't know of any other method of treatment that can heal people from these kind of illnesses. My 4-year-old son, diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder and IgG deficiency, has recurrent episodes of strep throat. He seems to be a carrier since he doesn't show many symptoms, but the rest of the family I'm going to use it, yeah. Seem to. The rest of the family does. What do you think is the most effective way to address this? He exhibits behavior symptoms every time he gets sick, and I'm very afraid of pandas. The tonsils in the throat have long, deep cavities called lacunes, like caves, you know. And anything made out of flour and sugar, bread, pasta, cakes, anything sugary, that mass, after you chew the flour, and that mass, it gets into those lacunes deep and feeds streptococci and other microbes. And that is what causes the sore throat and the strep throat as well. When we stop eating these things, those lacunes clean up. They clean themselves up very effectively, and the chain of this infection stop in the person. As we drink kefir, because in the GAPS nutritional protocol, we drink kefir. The kefir populates those lacunes. The balanced microbial community of kefir populates those lacunes. And it doesn't allow streptococci to thrive. It pushes them out. So it can heal that situation. If it is very ingrained, and first I would implement the GAPS nutritional protocol for at least 6 months. If the strep throats continue, if that situation continues on one side in particular, there is a procedure that an ENT surgeon can do. They have a machine which sucks with a thin nozzle. So they can get into those lacunes deep and clean them out, suckle the content out. After that, if you continue with kefir, then the lacunes will be clean. The tonsils will be clean. Unfortunately, this simple procedure is not done by many ENT professionals. They all prefer to just send you for an operation to remove the tonsils. So find one that is prepared to do this. Tell them what you want to be done. You want to clean those lacunes in the tonsils. Then the child doesn't have to go through the operation to remove the tonsils, because there is no need to remove them if they clean, and if the child never has anything made out of flour again. What really cleanses the tonsils are our typical GAPS breakfast, where we have eggs, either soft boiled or fried with yolks left runny, and fried onions. Combination of onion and that cooked on tallow, on animal fat, not on olive oil. Cooked on animal fat, lamb fat, beef fat, goose fat, butter, ghee. Just eating that breakfast will cleanse the tonsils. Cleanse the whole place. And then follow with kefir. Okay? I don't think we've got time for more questions.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you want, you can answer one more, or we can just fit in here. I don't know, your decision. But yeah, we're 5 minutes on top of the time, so.
Okay. I would like to ask for your opinion on pandas in autistic children and how to treat chronic infections in these children. Pandas, many children in the world recovered from pandas simply with the GAPS diet. What these children need, they need lots and lots of kefir. High fat diet, they need a lot of animal fat. Animal fats, meats, fish, eggs, and sour cream. And butter for these children. The immune system rebalances itself and it takes everything under control. It takes the streptococcus under control and every other effect that these microbes may have in the body. And the probiotics are helpful as well. Some patients do better and recover quicker if they take also commercial probiotics on top of that. Next year, I'm going to launch a probiotic, my own formula, which will be on the market next year.
Good.
So watch out for that.
Yes. Well, before we finish, there is a friend here that is asking, he wants to ask a question. Natasha, just the last one. He says that he has a nervous tic since he was 15 years old, and now he has 31. And with the time, it's augmenting, like the tic is worse. Sally, I don't know if you want to explain it yourself.
Hello, doctora.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
I am Saleh from Palestine. I sent for you some gift with Anna.
Oh yes, thank you
Yes.
very much. It's a beautiful gift.
I wish go to your farm and stay there very soon. When I was 15, I start in me like nervous tick, but in different parts of my body. But with the time, increase. Every time it is increase. So I start gaps, but I finish until I feel like nauseous when I was eating the soup. So what do you can
So
tell to
how
me?
long were you on GAPS protocol strictly?
Strictly like 3 months.
3 months. And that's not enough. And the tics haven't disappeared.
What?
And the tics are not getting better.
No, yes. Very less when I was inside gaps very strictly.
Mm-hmm.
When I start going out, become strong.
You need to stay for 2 years at
2 years?
least. For
Oh
2
my
years
God.
at least on the
Oh,
GAPS protocol. Yes, strictly. Yes, you can stay on the full GAPS diet. See, or maybe if the tics haven't gone 100%, then go through the introduction, GAPS introduction diet for 2 years at least. 2 years at least.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you, doctora.
That will give your brain enough time to restructure itself and get rid of that focal damage, whatever it is that is stimulating this activity.
Thank you. I will do it.
It's lovely to meet you, and thank you for your beautiful gift.
You're welcome.
But thank you, Natasha. Thank you for your time. Thank you for writing the book. Thank you for doing all what you do. And muchísimas gracias a todos por haber estado aquí. Luego subiremos la presentación. Y nada, seguimos y compren el libro. Thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody, for gathering, and thank you for your work, Hannah.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Chao. Chao. Buenas noches. Adiós.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Chao.